All right, guys, you guessed it. Today is the day that I'm starting to get everything together for the event Saturday. I've been kind of, I guess you could say, doing some pre-prep, but today is the day that I actually get everything out, make sure all of my stuff is where it's supposed to be, nothing's gotten misplaced, just do a little few tests, test run the generator and all that stuff to get ready for this weekend's event. So if you're thinking about doing events, you know, whether you have this kind of setup or whether you're just doing it out of the back of a truck like I used to, stick around. I'm going to share you some of the things I've learned about preparing for events and what to expect at those events. So let's check it out. So for those of you that aren't familiar, yes, I like my Ford trucks. Got my first F-150 back in, I think it was 1992, and that's pretty much been my primary vehicle ever since. This trailer here, I bought it, I think, the second year that I was doing all the woodworking and when I got into the laser engraving and everything, because before I got this, I was literally packing everything onto a utility trailer, just an open top utility trailer, and every time I went to an event here in Alabama during the summer, there's almost always afternoon showers and all my stuff kept getting, you know, wet. So I had a little money saved up from doing jobs. I took that money and went to the, you know, to the little trailer place. I had about half of what I wound up paying for this thing. I think I paid like $6,000 for it. I had $3,000 on hand, and the bank was graciously enough to give me a signature loan for the remainder. And I think it was within 6 months, because I think I did a 6-month signature loan, I was able to make enough money to pay the rest of the money off. And like I said, for a new and upcoming woodworking, laser engraving guy, I felt like that was pretty good. All right, so yes, this has been modified from its original configuration. As you can see, I've got tubs for all of my stuff. I've got a couple of canopies down there. This is some of my sound system that I've acquired recently. This has really nothing to do with lasers. This is more for like YouTube events, you know, meet and greet, stuff like that. It's a kind of a PA system of sorts, but this is where I keep it because I got nowhere else. A lot of folks ask me about the laser setups that I use. There is my Atom Stack A24. That is the big machine that I carry with me in case I need to do some engraving on site. I've got air assist hooked up to it. I'm using this little Comgrow smoke eater here. Most of the stuff that I'm going to be doing is going to be outdoor. This just kind of takes the edge off of the smoke. It's not really stopping the smoke per se, but it does help. And as you can see, I've got a big battery backup built into the table here. That is either powered, I can power it off of the extension cord here by plugging it into like shore power if I've got, you know, power at the event or whatever. If not, you can see I've been test running it over there just to make sure it works okay today. That is my little generator. We'll go over that a little bit more here in a minute. But yeah, I've got the lights and everything, got the monitor up top that swivels around so that people can see what I'm doing as far as their events, their stuff that I'm doing. And you can see I've got lots of chairs. The reason the chairs are in here, you don't have to have, like you can see there, I got 2 chairs there. I got another big, huge chair there. 2 more chairs here. Those are for you guys. In case somebody shows up at the event, wants to hang out with us, you can. So yeah, lots of different just miscellaneous junk here. Different boxes. I got the boxes labeled depending on, you know, what I'm looking for, what I feel like putting out that day. I need to add a few more boxes. And of course, a fan. All of this stuff, guys, runs through that battery backup, and that's in case somebody trips over my extension cord, power blinks, generator runs out of gas, whatever the case may be. But yeah, let me show you the other side of the table. I'm not going to unload this today. I just want to make sure everything's still intact. So we'll walk around to the other side and I'll show you what it looks like. All right. Now, I don't leave this up here on the table because it'll fall. But I did get it out just to make sure last event, I wanted to make sure I still have my button. I've got my power supply. I've got the cable. You got to make sure all of those critical things are still in place. I've also got the jig kit that I built for it over in one of those boxes. I've got this table here, but I'm glad I came out here and looked because I'm missing a table. Brandy, there's another one that hangs right there. Brandy has it in the house where she was using it to do some sewing. So I'm gonna need to go collect that and put it back here in the trailer. This is the laptop that I use, and you can see I made myself like a little makeshift holder for it so it doesn't slide off of the table. That way I can just leave it on there when I load this up and move everything. Of course, at events, there's going to be certain things that you're going to need. This is just random junk, office supplies. I got some little sheets of wood under there. I am going to load up some different materials because I don't have any of the new pre-finished in there. I don't have any of the true flat in there. So I'm going to break this little buggy down and put some of my more current materials in there. This is my little sander that I keep here on the trailer, just in case I need to do a cutting board or something like that. I can knock the edges off of it. And you'll notice it looks remarkably new. That's because I went to an event and realized I didn't have one, so that I left them at the house. So I bought another one. So now I've got a total of 3 of these things because I had to have it for an event. So yeah, too many of those. But yeah, so we're gonna do that. But let me walk you over here to show you what my little generator looks like, because that's what runs all of this, guys. So let's go check that out. It is a very small form factor. It's not all that heavy. As you can see right there, it's a Win 2000 watt. I will drop links down below if you're interested. Feel free to use those links because, hey, it'll help me out. But it has a fuel shutoff, which is really nice because it keeps it from getting messed up with fuel sitting in it for extended periods. You turn that on to the on position, turn this to the on position, pull out the choke. Let's see how it does. There you go. So the thing that I like about this little guy is, see, I'm about 15, 18 feet from it right there, probably 15 feet. All right, so we're about 20 feet from it right there. It's very quiet, does a good job. And the only problem that I've had was my own fault. What I have learned is it needs to stay on flat ground, because if you get it just the slightest bit low on oil and you put it on a sloped surface, it will trigger the protect on it and it'll shut it off. It about drove me crazy at 2 events until I finally realized what it was. And I added just a little bit of oil to it, fixed the problem. So there you go. All right, so as you can tell, guys, it is humid out here today. It's been raining most every day this week. Today's kind of pretty. I don't know if you can see, you can't see the sky because the camera's staying focused on me. But it's really hot. So let's walk inside and continue this in there. All right, guys, so that's the setup, and yes, it is hot out there. First tip, if you're going to an outdoor event, especially in the South this time of year, take a rag with you, all right? That way you can like dab your face because it is hot. Also, I like to take a fan. Luckily, like I said, by using either using power that is provided or by using my little 2000 watt generator, I'm able to have enough surplus energy to run both my A24, my F1, the computers, as well as my fan, and of course the lights. That is one thing that you will need to do. Also, take plenty of drink, take snacks, take whatever you need to keep yourself in a good mood, guys, because the one thing that I will tell you will ruin your chances to sell things faster than anything is people walking by and looking over there and you look like you're just beat to death. They're not going to want to talk to you. Okay, they're going to think something's wrong with you and they're going to keep walking. So whatever it takes to keep you in a good mood, hydrated, fully snacked, take that with you as well. One thing that I use, and I use a lot, is if you're going to be going to these events, whether you use a Square or some type of credit card machine, take it with you. That's one of the things that I'm doing today. I use this little guy here because it comes with my QuickBooks. I use QuickBooks to manage all the stuff here at the business. and I can sit out there that day and take credit cards. I can take all the different. Basically, if you can send money, I can take it. Whether it's Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit card, debit card, PayPal, I can take it. Because that was one of the things early on that I had an issue with is when I very first started doing it, I was cash only. And we live in a society now to where not very many people carry cash. And even a lot of people carry debit cards per se, but some folks don't carry anything except their phone. So if you can't do tap to pay, even if you have a Square and you can't do tap to pay, you may lose some sales over that. So if you have to spend a little bit of extra money to get a tap to pay compatible device, I would recommend it. I mean, it is an expense, but in order to make money doing anything, you have to have the appropriate tools and the right stuff to work with. So that's going to be a big thing, is take some type of point of sale with you. As far as, like I said, Square makes them. If you have QuickBooks, you can buy those through your QuickBooks. It's not terribly outrageous. I think I paid $52 for that one. And it just ties right into my QuickBooks, keeps track of everything for me. Uses the GPS on the phone to calculate sales tax. So it's really, really handy. Another thing that I would say is if you're new and starting out doing this, if your setup is literally a couple of lasers, a couple of tables in the back of a minivan or in the back of your truck like I used to do, don't get discouraged, okay? You got to learn the game. You've got to get out there and do it. The more you do it, the better off you'll be. So when you're going to an event, don't set your goal that you're going to make $1,000. Don't set your goal to where you're going to make $10,000, because I hear it, guys. I hear it on YouTube. People say they went to an event and they made $25,000. I've never done that, okay? I'm not that heavily involved in events. I would dare to say I don't know that that's even possible here where I live, but maybe it is. But my goal when I go to an event is I want the outcome to benefit my company, to help me grow my business. Whether it's a whole bunch of sales or whether it's a whole bunch of leads and contacts, that's what I want. I'm not as wrapped around the axle about the money that day. I will say this. Make yourself a QR code sign. Make yourself a stack of cards. If you don't want to buy business cards, use some of your scrap materials. Like, do you see this scrap that I've got piled up against the wall right there? When you're not doing anything else, just burn yourself some little tokens, like some little pocket-sized coins or something with your business name on there, maybe a QR code on the back, something. If you don't want to spend the money on the metal business cards, use your scrap. Every time you have a piece of scrap and you don't have anything going on, burn out a little card, a token, or whatever, something that you can hand people to get their attention and get them to call you. Because the lot of going to events for me is not so much the sales that I do there. That is nice. I don't like going and then, losing money, which I've done several occasions. I prefer to come back with a little bit of money. I like to make, a profit that day. But what I really like is that when I get back from an event the next few weeks, I've got those emails or I've got those messages. Because I'll tell you one good thing to do, because you don't want people to forget, is have them message you on Facebook. Have them say, hey, look, this is my Facebook page. Go there. Just send me a message and let me know what it is you're wanting, so I'll remember it next week when I get back in the shop. And they'll do it. So that way, you've already established a way to communicate back with them the next week when you're sitting there and you're like, okay, let's go ahead and follow up on those leads. You send them a message, hey, this is, whatever your name is. We spoke at the event the other day. I'm working on getting it together. When would you like this made? What is your budget? Blah, blah, blah. Just go ahead and start that monologue with that person to get that sale. Don't just hand out a card necessarily and let it go. Now, sometimes you get busy and that's all you can do. But if it's a lull moment, two things will happen if you're sitting there talking with someone and trying to get them to message your page or whatever. You're going to do two things, okay? Human beings are creatures of, I'm not going to say habit per se, we are, but that's not the word I'm looking for. We like to do what other people do, okay? You walk out in a parking lot one day when you're just bored and want to have some fun, and just look up at the sky. Just look up. You will notice that as people walk past you, they're going to look up because they want to know what you're looking at, okay? So same effect if somebody comes to your booth and they're sitting there talking to you, It doesn't matter what you're talking about. If a person sees another person engaging you at that booth, you have a better chance that they're going to walk over and engage you also. It's just the human psyche is the way it works. Like, I would almost be willing to say, if you have friends that are going to be there, just have them walk by and talk to you occasionally. And see, you will see that when other people walk by and see you engage in a conversation, especially if it appears to be a pleasant conversation, people are more prone to walk over and talk to you. Klein's going to be helping me at Peach Jam this year. That was one of the things that we had to work on with him, was making eye contact, talking to these people. Hey, how are you doing? You know, what's going on? And people a lot of times will look at me and go, hey, what do you do? And I just tell them, I can put your name on anything. And they're just kind of like, what? Because that sparks that little bit of curiosity. But I have found, guys, don't concentrate on the really big items. Sell the small stuff. You know, get your name out there. Use these events to springboard your marketing, because there's going to be hundreds, possibly thousands of people walk past your booth. You want to use this as a marketing opportunity as well as a sales opportunity. So one thing that I'm doing is, you guys know that a lot of times I just make things for folks, or I'll make something and then I'll make 3 or 4 more just to have fun. And so I'm going through the shop, and there's some stuff that I've made that I'm not using, and I'm going to take it with me, if for no other reason, just to have things for people to look at and go, oh, that's pretty cool. Could you make this? Or could you make that? So I'm going to take those things with me. I don't like spending a whole lot of money on pre-made inventory, doing what I do. Now, my situation and yours may be different. Your game may be 100% pre-made inventory. That's not what I concentrate on. And you don't have to copy what I do. You can do your own thing and do it however you want. But I concentrate on small things made on site and customizing things that I've already made and brought with me to the event, whether it be charcuterie boards or coasters or keychains or whatever. I want to customize those things at the event. And I have some, you know, little cookie cutter things that I keep out that people can pick up for a couple of bucks here and there. Those are to draw those people in, that I use as kind of a decoy. It's kind of like putting the duck decoys out on the pond. I use those little $5 items that are just generic, especially with kids, to draw those kids in. Because when the kids walk over, mom, I want this, the parents are there. And so there's that potential to gain another sale while they're there. And kids are a little easier to get to talk to you sometimes. So just be tactical about your approach. Don't ever set too high of expectations for yourself, so that your first event you come back feeling down and depressed about it because you watched some guy that said he made $25,000 at an event. That is not going to happen every time. It hasn't happened to me yet. So if not making 25 grand at an event is a failure, I'm a total failure. But you know what? I follow up on a lot of leads. I get a lot of business off those events. And most of the time, I make enough sales that I come back with a little bit more jingle in my pocket. So pick your equipment wisely, guys. Regardless of how you're powering everything, take into consideration how much electricity you're going to have access to, and try to use it as efficiently as you can. Like with my setup, having the battery backup, that allows me for my machines to kind of peak occasionally and pull more electricity than what I'm actually producing with the generator. But I have that buffer in that battery there. And so it enables me to do a little more with a smaller generator than what you typically would without that battery, because there's that buffer of excess electricity sitting there in that battery. But yeah, I've got other videos about the setup. I will drop links to those. Some of those are even some way back when videos of when I was first getting this thing set up and getting it going. Events aren't my big thing. They were in the beginning. They were pretty big. That's why I bought a trailer. That's why I invested as much as I did in it. Once I got the momentum going, once I used these events to market myself and make those connections and get that popularity in the community, now the events are more for fun and to expand upon my leads and my customer base as far as people, not the business to business stuff. You will catch those occasionally at events, but mostly just for people, for individuals. So I hope maybe, if nothing else, guys, maybe there's one little tidbit of information in the video that either helped you feel better about doing events, gave you a little more confidence about doing events, or just struck your curiosity and you're going to try it. But if anything in here you think was helpful to you, drop a comment and let me know, because sometimes I think these videos are goofy, but then people tell me that, you know, it helped them to kind of overcome that little bit of resistance to do an event, and they were so thankful afterwards, and you know how it goes. But anyway, wish us luck. Like I said, if you're going to be in town, it'll be Saturday this week, which I guess is today's the 12th, 13th, so it's the 14th. I think it's the 14th. Anyway, I'll drop a link to the event as well. If you're in the area of Central Alabama and you want to stop by the booth, and hopefully if Klein shows up, you can holler at me and Klein if it's not thunderstorming. We'll see. But anyway, guys, be safe, and until next time, have a good day.